The 2026 Honda HR-V is arriving with a cabin that embarrasses most of its competitors, a ride quality that belongs in a class above, and a base trim that's finally worth buying. But it's also hiding flaws that no one is talking about. If you're shopping in the subcompact SUV segment and the HR-V is anywhere on your list, what you're about to hear could save you from making a very expensive mistake. Most reviews will tell you it's a safe, sensible pick, but the truth is that this Honda is carrying a powertrain problem that's going to follow you to every gas station and every highway on-ramp for as long as you own it. Let's check the good things first, all those qualities that are keeping the HR-V relevant in one of the most competitive segments on the market. Number 3. Spacious and comfortable cabin. Here's the frustration that comes with shopping for subcompact SUVs. You do the research, get excited about the price, walk onto a lot, open the door, and immediately feel like the car was designed for half the people and half the luggage you actually have. Cramped second rows, shallow cargo areas, cabins squeezed from every direction. For a lot of buyers, it's the reason they end up spending more than they planned on something larger. The HR-V is telling a different story. Rear passengers get 37.7 inches of legroom waiting for them, a figure that puts most classmates to shame. But the cargo area is where this SUV really turns heads. Behind the second row, buyers will be working with 24.4 cubic feet and a notably flat, accessible load floor, enough for 7 carry-on suitcases in Honda's own testing. Fold the seats down, and that expands to 55.1 cubic feet. For a vehicle this compact, the interior is making a compelling case for itself. A roomy cabin goes a long way. But all that space stops meaning much the moment the suspension turns every commute into a chiropractic appointment. The good news is that Honda has been doing serious work in that department, and the next Pro might be the one who separates the HR-V from most of what it's competing against. Number 2. Balanced ride quality. Subcompact SUVs have a habit of forcing a choice. You either get a stiff, choppy setup that rattles over every crack in the road, or something so underdamped it drifts through corners like it's not entirely sure where it's going. Either way, somebody's compromising. The HR-V isn't going to fall into either trap. Honda is running strut front and multi-link rear suspension, the same architecture underpinning the Civic, and the calibration is doing serious work. Speed bumps and broken city pavement are going to be absorbed quietly and without drama. But this isn't just a comfort story. When the road gets winding, body roll is well contained. The steering is accurate, and the feel through corners is noticeably tighter than the suspension setup would suggest. Noise isolation is holding up well at highway speeds too. That combination, compliant enough for the daily grind, controlled enough to stay engaging, is genuinely uncommon at this price point. So the ride quality is impressive, but a well-sorted suspension only tells part of the story, because none of it matters if the base trim is forcing buyers to spend thousands more just to get the features they actually want. That's where the next Pro is going to be worth paying close attention to. Number 1. The base trim is actually showing up to the party. Every car buyer knows this story. You get excited about a model's starting price, drive to the dealer, and discover the version you actually want is 3 trims higher and several $1,000s more expensive. The base model turns out to be a stripped preview of the real thing. The 2026 HR-V is writing a different ending. Honda is making the 9.0-inch touchscreen standard across all trims for 2026, a meaningful 2-inch upgrade over last year's entry-level model, and a feature previously exclusive to the top EXL. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a wireless charging pad are all going to be waiting for LX buyers from the factory, alongside rear privacy glass and refreshed wheel designs. On the safety front, Honda Sensing is coming fully loaded: automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, automatic high beams, and road sign recognition. Those aren't features buyers are negotiating for at the dealer. They're standard floor-level equipment. For a starting price under $28,000, the LX is making the climb up the trim ladder feel genuinely optional. 3 strong pros: a practical cabin, a composed ride, and a base trim that's actually worth buying. But the HR-V has real problems too, and some of them cut right to the heart of what this class of vehicle is supposed to be good at. Now that we've gone through the pros, let's get into the cons, the issues that are going to give potential buyers real pause. Number 3. Slow acceleration is hard to dress up. Picture a highway on ramp, a gap in traffic closing faster than expected, and a throttle you're pressing further than you should need to. The engine is winding up, the CVT is hunting for the right ratio, and the car is building speed. Not quickly, not confidently, and not quietly. For a lot of drivers, that moment is going to be playing out every single day. That's the reality of living with the HR-V's 2.0-liter, naturally aspirated inline-4. The engine is producing 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque, but that torque is arriving high in the rev range, meaning there's no low-end urgency. Rivals running turbocharged units are going to be pulling away from stops with an ease this engine simply isn't capable of matching. The measured 0 to 60 time of 9.4 seconds confirms what the seat of the pants is already feeling. The Mazda CX-30, Hyundai Kona, and Volkswagen Taos are all offering turbocharged alternatives that are going to feel noticeably more capable in the exact situations where this Honda is going to struggle most. Slow acceleration is already a significant drawback, but this same engine isn't just underperforming at the track, it's also underperforming at the fuel pump, and that's where the next con is going to land. Number 2. Fuel economy. One of the main reasons buyers choose subcompact SUVs is the promise of better efficiency, and the HR-V's efficiency figures are, at best, unremarkable. Front-wheel drive models are coming in at 26 miles per gallon city and 32 miles per gallon highway, while all-wheel drive variants drop to 25 city and 30 highway. For a segment where efficiency is supposed to be one of the central arguments, those numbers aren't going to be winning any debates. The Kia Niro Hybrid is returning 49 to 53 miles per gallon combined. The Chevrolet Trax, which is both cheaper and quicker, holds 30 miles per gallon combined. The CVT isn't delivering the efficiency dividend it theoretically promises, and that pairing of an older atmospheric engine with a continuously variable gearbox is producing results that are underwhelming on both ends. For a car asking buyers to live without a turbo or a hybrid, arriving with sub-30 miles per gallon combined in all-wheel drive form is a difficult position to defend. Both cons are pointing at exactly the same root cause, and it's a decision Honda is still making that's harder to justify than any individual spec number. Because there's a solution that would fix both problems at once, and Honda is already using it, just not here. Number 1. No hybrid option. The HR-V comes with a single gasoline engine across every trim, with no electrified variant on offer for US buyers. What makes this particularly frustrating is that Honda is already selling a hybrid version of the HR-V in other global markets. The technology isn't missing from Honda's catalog, it's just not being offered here. Meanwhile, the Kia Niro Hybrid, the Hyundai Kona Hybrid, and Honda's own CR-V Hybrid are giving buyers the efficient, capable powertrain that makes going smaller actually worthwhile. The absence of a hybrid isn't just a fuel economy conversation. It's pulling the rug out from under the HR-V's entire value pitch. If the slow acceleration is the problem and the weak fuel economy is the consequence, a hybrid powertrain would address both with a single move. Until Honda decides to bring that solution stateside, the HR-V is going to be carrying a meaningful disadvantage against a class that has clearly decided which direction it's heading. At the end of the day, the 2026 Honda HR-V is a genuinely well-rounded small SUV in almost every way that doesn't involve the powertrain. The cabin is spacious beyond what the exterior dimensions suggest, the ride quality is striking a balance most competitors can't manage, and the base trim is loaded enough to make higher trims feel optional. But then there's the engine, naturally aspirated, slow to respond, thirstier than it should be, and standing alone without a hybrid alternative. That single gap is doing real damage to what is otherwise a compelling package, because in a segment moving fast toward electrification and turbocharged performance, the HR-V is still asking buyers to accept a powertrain that belongs to a different era. If efficiency and performance are anywhere near the top of the list, the HR-V is going to keep losing that argument to rivals that have already found the answer Honda is still sitting on. With everything we've said in mind, the most logical thing to do is to check the alternatives as well. And one of them definitely is the Nissan Kicks, which you can check out in our next video. It may be impressive in terms of comfort and practicality, but disappointing performance makes the choice much harder.